Welcome back to my storytelling for Law of Attraction. Today I'm reading another story from Neville Goddard's The Law and the Promise. This is the power of the imagination because it's multiple books in one, which I recently just discovered the other day. I thought it was just two books and multiple chapters, but multiple books. Yeah, if you're interested in purchasing this, I got it for $20 at Barnes and Nobles. So, Barnes and Noble. Anyways, this story today is about love. Um, the reason I chose it because I thought, when people say meant to be in a relationship or they lose contact with somebody, right? And they don't know how to get back in contact with that person, or, you don't have any of their social media. Well, what's really cool about this story is this was during a time where phones did exist. This was in the 1920s, but you had to be pretty wealthy to have a phone. And even then, it wasn't like, they had cell phones and they had to go and find a telephone and have that person's number written down and all the things that could happen, right? Even nowadays, if we write down our phone numbers, people most of the time like lose the paper. I know I've done that. So we normally whip out our cell phone and then exchange information. Um, so yeah, I thought the story was really cool because this lady had no way of contacting this man, but she used the power of her imagination. And well, I'm not going to spoil it. Here it goes. Last August, while on a blind date, I met the man I wanted to marry. This happens sometimes, and it happened to me. He was everything I had ever thought of as desirable in a husband. 2 days after this enchanted evening, it was necessary for me to change my place of residence because of my work. And the same week, the mutual friend who had introduced me to this man moved away from the city. I realized the man I had probably met did not know of my new address. And frankly, I was not sure he knew my name. Well, he didn't even know her name. After your last lecture, I spoke to you of this situation, to Neville Goddard. Although I had plenty of other dates, I could not forget this one man. Your lecture was based on revising our day, and after speaking to you, I determined to revise my day every day. And before going to sleep that night, I felt I was in a different bed in my own home as a married woman, and not as a single working girl sharing an apartment with three other girls. I twisted an imaginary wedding band on my imaginary left hand, saying over and over to myself, "This is wonderful. I really am Mrs. J.E." And I fell asleep in what was a moment before a waking dream. I repeated this imaginary scene for 1 month, night after night. I knew my dreams were rightly placed. Oh, wait. The first week in October, he found me. On our second date, I knew my dreams were rightly placed, so he did find her. Within a few months after their first blind date in the streets. Um, and then on their second date, she realized, yep, this is the guy for me. Your teaching tells us to live in the end of our imagination and the end of our desire until that desire becomes fact. So although I did not know how he felt toward me, I continued night after night living in the feeling of my dream realized. The results: in November he proposed. In January we announced our engagement, and the following May we were married. The loveliest part, however, is that I'm happier than I've ever dreamed possible, and I know that in my heart he is too. By using her imagination radically instead of conservatively, by building her world out of pure dreams of fancy, rather than using images supplied by memory, she brought about the fulfillment of her dream. Common sense would have used images supplied by her memory, and thereby perpetuated the fact of lack in her life. Imagination created what she desired out of a dream of fancy. Everyone must live wholly on the level of imagination, and it must be consciously and deliberately undertaken. Yeah, lovers and madmen have such seething brains, such shaping fantasies that apprehend more than cool reason ever comprehends. Mrs. J.E. Um, so yeah, that just shows you, if you really like someone, or you've been interested in someone, or you lost contact with somebody, it doesn't mean that they can't come back into your life, that you can't find them, that they can't find you. I know for this particular person that I really like, and now we're dating. But we lost contact for about 10 months. And he found me at a cafe I was working at. And so funny. Came in, hugged me, exchanged information. It was crazy. But and not a stalker, not in that way. So yeah, don't give up. There are other videos on this channel about love and attracting a mate. So I'll post more of them in the future. But I hope you enjoy the story. Thanks for watching. Bye.